And all you're doing right now is making a speech for the cameras, and that is totally inappropriate. You want to talk about my budget? About my budget.
Excuse me, that is inappropriate, Lieutenant Governor, we're a co-equal branch of government, okay? And for you to make that comment is quite condescending to me as the chairman of this committee, to every member of this legislature, and to everybody who has ever served on this budget committee. I don't take that lightly.
A clash at the Capitol this morning. Some heated words between the executive and legislative branches over budget, duty, and decorum. A budget hearing did get nasty today. There was tough talk when the Secretary of State, who doubles as the first ever lieutenant governor, came before the Senate Budget Committee. Kim Guadagno took issue with the Democratic Committee chairman's request that she address the governor's entire spending plan as the state's second in command. Now, State House correspondent Zachary Fink is live at the Capitol with more on today's fiery hearings. And Zach, Guadagno did say she was wearing her Secretary of State hat today and not the lieutenant governor's cap.
Well, Jim, she certainly said that. There's a couple of things going on here. Number one, there are some serious divisions over this budget. Very tough budget year. Nobody disagrees with that. And there are some sharp differences of opinion about how to proceed, what questions to ask, and where those funds should be allocated. You also have, uniquely, the first time New Jersey has had a lieutenant governor, and she also serves as the Secretary of State. So some of those tensions were also on display. Very quickly, the atmosphere turned partisan as Democratic Budget Committee Chairman Paul Sarlo asked Guadagno to speak to her role in crafting the Christie budget.
I'm not going to answer any questions about my role as Lieutenant Governor. Now, this is the interesting conversation you and I had, and I've had with a number of the members of this committee.
Mr. Chairman, Lieutenant Governor is here to talk about the Secretary of State's role in the state government, and we seem to be going off the beaten track of trying to bring her into the budget process of the budget itself, and I think that's wrong. And I think we should stay on the subject of the Secretary of State.
In all due respect, Senator Bucco, the people of New Jersey have a unique opportunity today to hear from the first Lieutenant Governor on a budget that is so difficult, that we're asking so many people to sacrifice for. There's so much pain being inflicted. Would you be willing to do that?
I heard the question. Are you two done fighting back and forth? Because what I want to do is answer the question as clearly as I possibly can, Senator.
Please don't worry about who argues among ourselves up here. We do that all the time, and then we go out and share a cup of coffee together.
A little bit later, Guadagno was questioned by Democratic Majority Leader Barbara Buono about the Red Tape Review Group, a group created via executive order to help cut down government waste. Guadagno headed up that group, and Buono was a member. However, the senator distanced herself from its recommendations.
I'm sorry you couldn't join us in looking at these recommendations a little more closely, but I'm sure that we'll still have that opportunity to work.
Are you suggesting I didn't look at the recommendations closely?
No, I'm not. Okay. And I didn't mean to, and I apologize for that if that's the case. All I'm saying is this is the beginning. These are recommendations. It parrots the federal system. It doesn't limit open and transparent government in any way.
Well, the decision matrix was not discussed in any of the hearings I was at.
Well, you have to read.
Let's talk about what it is.
Do I get to answer a question, or are you going to keep asking questions? Let me get one at a time. You ask the question. I'll give an answer. You can ask another question.
Well, as long as you're responsive.
All right.
Okay.
What's the question?
I'll just move on. You obviously don't want to answer it.
I just find it quite interesting. You're willing to talk about economic development and the Red Tape Commission in your role as Lieutenant Governor, but you were unwilling to talk to us about the theme of the budget, and I find that a big inconsistency there.
The Secretary of State's office has a very limited budget. It is responsible for the state library, tourism, the arts, and our own New Jersey network.
The state has made such a great investment in it. We have to be very careful as we move forward with NJN. It is a purveyor of public information, and I think we have to really make sure we got the right checks and balances and not just, in essence, give this thing away.
NJN News interim executive director Howard Blumenthal told the committee that the network is working on an operating plan and does not yet have its budget in place.
That process now involves legislators as well as governor's office and boards. There's a fair number of stakeholders involved, as well as community members. So we're building what we think will be a plan for a good, smooth transition. There's clearly a lot of questions that we have to work through with you, some on our own, some operational, some governance issues.
The details of that change, when would that be available to the chairman, this committee, and the legislature in general? The details of the change that you anticipate but cannot describe?
Well, the overall plan that we're working on really depends upon the structure of the organization.
When do you think that would be available?
So when we have complete information to be able to put together a budget, which requires the legislature and the governor to work together, we will then be able to deliver a plan.
The chairman pointed out we have 7 months here. When do you think this is going to be available?
As soon as possible. I encourage all of you to work with the governor's office so that we can resolve this, so we can put together a budget and deliver a plan.
Now, the Christie administration plan for NJN is to get it out of the state system by January of 2011. New Jersey Network's budget is $28 million, or at least was last year. $4 million of that comes directly from the state. However, New Jersey Network's 129 employees are also state employees, yours truly included. And the plan, of course, would be to get those employees off of the state payroll once again by January 2011. I'm Zachary Fink, live at the Capitol. Jim, back to you.
Yours truly as well, Zach, and quite a rare day down there today.